December 18th. The first reading today comes from Jeremiah 23, and it speaks about the fact that there would be a shoot of David. Much as we heard yesterday, this is speaking about that coming Messiah. And this Messiah would create a new reality for Israel. The people would no longer say, as God brought us out of Egypt, but he would say, as God brought us out of exile. In a sense, Jesus fulfills that because his birth, his life, his death, his resurrection is even a third exodus, that he's brought us out of the exile of sin and loneliness and brokenness into his love. The gospel is from Matthew 1, and it speaks about the birth of Jesus. Now, in Matthew, we don't hear about the Annunciation. All we hear is that Mary is pregnant, even though she's only engaged to Joseph. Now, Joseph knows that she's pregnant, and so he decides, rather than embarrassing her, or as a righteous Jew would do, rather than having her put to death, he would only divorce her. But he's visited by an angel in a dream. Why does Joseph receive the revelation in a dream? Because he's a descendant of Joseph the dreamer. Remember Joseph, who has all those dreams in Egypt. He is told by the angel to take care of Mary and the child, and he obeys. He takes care of Mary and the child. Joseph thought he was being compassionate simply by divorcing Mary. Now he learns the true meaning of compassion. And doesn't that teach us a lesson? We can never fully be compassionate until we have the grace of God to give us the strength to do what has to be done. Now we also hear that this child will be called Emmanuel. This comes from the prophecy of Isaiah the prophet, and when he was speaking, he was referring to one of his own children, Emmanuel, a name which means God is with us, because he was talking to the king of Judah who didn't want to believe in the intervention of God. Therefore, Isaiah the prophet told him that there's going to be a child, and every time the king hears the child's name, God is with us, God is with us, God is with us, he would be reminded of the fact that God was with them. But when they translated this verse into Greek, around the 2nd century BC, they made a slight mistake. The original word for who would have the child is maiden. When they translated it, they used the word virgin. And that's what Matthew was using in this text. It doesn't mean that Matthew didn't know whether or not Mary was a virgin. He knew she was. He was simply looking for a verse that foretold that. And looking at that, it almost sounds like there was a mistranslation. Isn't it miraculous that God can work even through mistakes, even through our human brokenness, to bring about his proclamation of our salvation? And may God bless us.